Alright guys, I think it's finally on. This is my first time using this setup. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. This is a completely new setup for me. I'm using a completely new software, green screen and all that good stuff. So I hope that you can see me on here and everything is working properly. There's a little bit of a delay, by the way, I noticed, from what I'm seeing on the screen from what you guys are seeing on YouTube. But anyway, I'm so glad that you guys can join. Let me know if anything sounds bad. I see you guys in the chat are saying it's bad audio. Let me see if I can try and fix that. As I said, it's a new setup. This is kind of a test, really. But let's see if we can fix the audio. Is the audio any better now? I think the audio should be better now. If not, please let me know in the chat. As I said, this is a new setup. I have not tried this before. As everyone in the chat seems to be thinking that the voice is bad. Let me know if it's still bad or if it is better now. I hopefully should have fixed it. Let me just see if there's any more settings. Okay, there we go. All right, yes, you guys in the chat. There is a delay from what I'm seeing in the chat from on the screen. It seems to be about a 20-30 seconds delay. So everyone seems to be happy with the sound now. That's perfect. As I said, this is a completely new setup. I have gotten this green screen stuff, and I have the studio and all of this good stuff going. So hopefully this looks a lot more professional than before. I'm still working on it. It's still a kind of a test. I'm so glad you guys can join me for this new and improved live stream. And we got all this. I don't know if you can see, but you see this this way. This way there's a jar on the screen, and that is something new that I found. It's actually a donation called a tip jar. So if there's any super chats or donations, or if anyone new subscribes, there's things gonna happen on the screen. Actually, for every if I have managed to done it correctly, every super chat will actually play the Swedish national anthem on the screen, and you also get some coins popping up and everything. I highly recommend someone should try it, because I hope I've done it correctly, and if so, there should be quite a lot of fun stuff happening on the screen with the donations and whenever someone subscribes as well. So I highly recommend someone subscribes or donates. And all super chats will be read live on air, by the way. And let's get right into the news, and then we can talk a little bit more about the setup and stuff. I have some quite interesting stories from Scandinavia, and also talk a bit from America. My usual co-host Steve Franson is not with me today, so I'll be doing this by myself. So let's get into the stories. All right. By the way, I saw we have a super chat here from Sean. We have our first super chat, and I think it worked. We are getting the things on screen, a tip jar and everything. And by the way, don't worry about that logo. I put up a Swedish communist flag logo whenever someone donates as a kind of a fun thing. Don't worry, I'm not a communist. It's just a joke, since Sweden is such a communist country. But yeah, thank you so much for super chat, Sean. And I don't know, can we get this jar filled up? That'd be nice, and we can see how this all works. So let's get into all the latest stories from Europe today. All right, let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. As I said, I'm new to this, so you have to bear with me if anything goes wrong. I'm gonna try my best. Let me see if I can bring up on screen today's first news story. There we go. I think it should be up on screen right now. All right, so we have an article from Denmark. There's some news from Denmark. Denmark says that migrants should be kept outside the EU and not be redistributed between member states. So Denmark wants the EU to change its migration policy to basically keep migrants outside the EU, set up refugee camps outside of the EU, and not take them in. And this is actually a sort of something that I have heard been talked a lot about before as well, especially in Norway. The Norwegian former integration minister Sylvi Listhaug. She has actually, I was actually attended a meeting with her a couple of months ago, and she suggested they want to do the same thing. They want to set up refugee camps in perhaps Africa and other countries, and help them over there instead of taking them in, because it's actually going to be a lot cheaper to do it that way. By the way, just give me one moment. There's just something I just want to see if I can adjust here on screen. As I said, I'm new to this this whole setup, so just gonna see if I can improve the image a little bit. See, yes, there we go. You can see my hand better now. Yeah, just something I had to fix on the screen. All right, there we go. Yes, so I talked with the Norwegian former integration minister Sylvi Listhaug a couple of months ago, and she told me that they wanted to do the same thing that Denmark is suggesting now, to help migrants in their own countries, for example Africa, set up refugee camps over there, because I can't remember the exact figure, but I think she said something like it was $100 million or something like that. They could help a million people, or a million people, I can't remember exact numbers, but it was millions of more people they could help in Africa compared to only a couple of thousand in Norway for the same cost. A lot cheaper to help people, to help the migrants over there. And that's what Denmark now is suggesting as well here, according to this article. Let me just make it bigger for you so you guys can see easier. So yeah, they want the EU to start taking care of migrants outside of the EU instead of taking them inside the EU. And they also, so this was announced by Denmark's Immigration and Integration Minister Inger Støjberg during a press conference together with Austria's Interior Minister. And as you know, Austria now has a right-wing government as well. So it's nice to see that Denmark and Austria are working together. The aim is both to reduce immigration to Europe and also to provide better protection for real refugees, according to Denmark and Austria. It is more beneficial to help people in neighboring areas. As I said, exactly what the Norwegian migration minister said as well when I met with her. Quote, above all, we are moving away from a system where we help the strongest. We want to help those who need protection closer to the areas they come from. So this is, I think this is a very sensible idea from Denmark and Austria, and as I said, something that Norway has been looking at as well. Now, if you ask my opinion, I think they're completely correct. If there's a country in need, if there's a country where people are in need, if there's war or anything like that, of course they should get help. But you cannot take the whole of Africa into Europe. It just doesn't fit. It's just too small. We'll get too crowded. We get culture clashes, like you see in Sweden, where they form into these different ghettos and form these no-go zones, and they form gangs, and they basically run society their own way instead of integrating. Integration doesn't work very well. We have seen in the last few years, and as well as some of the stories we'll bring up today as well will show as well. So I think it's a very sensible solution, and finally to see Denmark and some countries in Europe to start seeing a sense. I very much doubt we will be getting Sweden on this though, because well, they're actually going to sign on a new UN deal where they are going to take in more migrants, and it's just a complete mess. And just a couple of weeks ago, the Swedish High Court ruled that a new law giving amnesty to 9,000 illegal migrants from Afghanistan and giving them free college, that was actually something that they would pass, and it would be legal to do that, the new law in Sweden, meaning, well, even more migrants in Sweden. So they are not likely to cut down on migration soon at all. All right. Let's move on to the next story. By the way, what do you guys think in the chat? I have this new setup. As I said, this is a little bit of a special live stream. This is the first time I'm doing this setup with the green screen and everything. ironing out the small problems here and there and fixing all the settings and everything. So it's a little bit of a special live stream. So you have to bear with me if everything doesn't go correctly, and please let me know in the chat what you think about the background and studio and everything, and do you think I should change any settings with the donation jar? I have the tip jar. Oh, the camera is the wrong is the wrong way around. So whenever I point one way, it's pointing different way on the screen. So yeah, I have the tip jar over here. If you want me to change anything, let me know. If you have any tips or anything, if I should change the sounds or settings, let me know what you think in the chat, because this is all my first time using this new streaming software and everything, and I want to get you guys involved, and I hope you like this new setup. I see someone in the chat is saying the picture is very blurry. It should be fine, I think. Well, it should be as fine as I can get it for the moment. I'm still waiting on some better studio lights, which could explain why the picture is a little bit blurry. You can see around the edges and so on. It's because I have a green screen and I don't have enough lighting, which means that the camera doesn't pick it up well enough, and it's difficult for the computer to process it all. So it is a little bit blurry on the edges here and on my hair and everything, but that will fix as soon as I get better studio lights coming in here. And thank you so much, by the way, for the super chat from Sean. I see that everything seems to be working with all the setup, and the tip jar and everything seems to be working. So thank you so much for that, Sean. He says, Canada is shifting right now too. The Liberals didn't even get official party status in the election this year, and in Quebec the CAQ right wing got more seats than the other three combined. Okay, thank you so much. I'm not too much into Canadian politics. I don't know much about it all. The only thing I know about Canadian politics basically is that Faith Goldie is running for mayor in Toronto. That's basically all I know. But thank you so much for letting us know how it's in Canada at the moment. And I think you see more and more around the world that the right wing is on the rise, and people are sick and tired of the left, and that you're seeing more and more right wing parties get into power, because, to be completely honest, the left's policies doesn't work. It goes against logic. So that's why people, anyone with a little bit logic thinking, quickly realize that the left-wing parties, they won't work, so they have to vote for right-wing parties instead. I think it's as simple as that. I see someone in the chat says that I should move to my right a little. I can try. Let me see if I can change that for you. I can move myself like this, but the problem is when I do, my green screen actually stops right. My green screen actually stops right here. So then I get my rest of my room here. So I have to move my green screen around a little bit to get that. I'll try and sort that for my next stream. So I have to just crop that out there, and I'm gonna place myself right here. Oh, it's all the wonders of computer. And thank you so much, by the way, from the super chat for John Knight. Really appreciate it, and it helps keep this stream going. Now that I got the proper studio setup going, I will be doing these streams a lot more regularly. It will always be at the same time here at 10 p.m. Sorry, 10 p.m. Norwegian time, which is 9 p.m. British time, and I don't know whichever time zone you're in America, but I guess you can figure it out. 9 p.m. British time, I'll always be doing the live streams, and I will be aiming to do them 5 days a week, like Nick Fuentes. He's getting a competitor now. Nick Fuentes is getting a competition. This will be the rival, and let's see if we can build this up and we get more viewers than him, hopefully. It'll take some time to build it up, but he's got competition now, and I will be doing these streams regularly, talking about all the current events, and I hope we can build a thriving community here. And you guys in the chat, you guys that are watching this, are the most important part for that. So let's get the chat hyped. Can we get some likes on this video? And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. and let's keep this party going. Thank you so much for super chat here from Lars Agerbeck from Denmark, I believe. Asks if I am familiar with Rasmus Paludan and Stram Kurs. Unfortunately, no, I have not heard them before. If you would like to enlighten us in the chat, Lars, about who they are, I will read that as well on if you can tell us who they are. But I don't know, unfortunately. Sorry about that. And I see the tip jar is filling up pretty nicely. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Can we get that filled up a little bit higher? That would be nice. All right. Okay, apparently it's 1 p.m. Pacific time right now. So apparently it will be 1 p.m. Pacific time that I'll be doing the streams. 9 p.m. British time, 10 p.m. Swedish Norwegian time. And then I don't know whatever time zone else you are, but I guess you can figure it out. Alright, let's move on to our next story, guys. We have quite a few things lined up for today. The next story will be a little disturbing, perhaps. So brace yourself. This will actually be. This is actually one of the worst things I have heard coming out of Europe in quite a long time. I mean, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but this one really takes the cake. By the way, I see here, I have two screens set up. I see whenever I'm looking at the other screen, I'm looking this way, which might look a little bit odd for you guys watching this. I should probably set the screens up the other way so that I look this way instead of when I read the screen. But right now my screen setup is so that I have a screen over this way, so apologies that I look away whenever I have to read from the screen. But anyways, let's get this latest article up and so you guys can see all about this this story, which is quite disturbing. So brace yourselves. So, German father is being charged for protecting his daughter against sexual assault. You read that correctly. A father, protecting his 21-year-old daughter against a sexual assault by an Eritrean migrant is now being charged with causing bodily harm. At the Munich Hagebroke train station, a drunk 21-year-old migrant from Eritrea grabbed a German woman under the skirt on Tuesday. When her father saw the sexual assault, he punched the African man in the face to make him stop. A perfectly reasonable action. You cannot complain about... if someone is assaulting someone, you have perfectly right to defend yourself. There is nothing wrong with that. I mean, you should be able to defend yourself if you get attacked. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way, from Sumo. Let's just take a quick break and go to the super chat because it's quite exciting with this new tip jar stuff. So thank you so much for Sumonia Kvantitet in the super chat. I'm going to come to your comment shortly after I read the article. Okay, let's get back to the article. So all right. So the father saw the sexual assault of his 21-year-old daughter. He punched the African man in the face to make him stop. An employee of the German railway company Deutsche Bahn witnessed the incident and alerted the police. The German police decided to file 2 charges, one against the migrant for sexual assault, okay, that's good, and one against the father for causing bodily harm. So I'm actually quite upset at this article right here. How is this possible? You know, you have a father, he sees his 21-year-old daughter getting sexually assaulted and potentially getting raped on a train station in Germany. He sees it and in the act, and he comes and punches the guy in the face to make him stop, which is perfectly allowed. I mean, that should not be illegal at all. That should be allowed. Self-defense, if you're potentially getting raped, you should be allowed. You should be allowed to defend yourself, especially protecting your family like he did. And I don't see anything wrong with that at all. And I mean, if you ask me, he only punched the guy in the face. If you ask me, he would be entitled to probably do a lot more than just punching him in the face. if it was America at least, where you have the Second Amendment, a lot more would happen, I think. I mean, it was just out there a couple of weeks ago that there was a, if I remember the story correctly, there was a mother that caught a pedophile in the act of raping her daughter, and she actually blew his head off with a shotgun. Now, I don't think you should do that, but you have all the rights to defend yourself and protect your family like that. But now he's being charged with assaulting the migrant who attacked his daughter. I don't know. It kind of goes to show that Europe is not in the kind of state that you want to be. And by the way, I forgot to add, if you look further down in the article, it's up, according to the Munich police, they say it's, quote, it's up to the judiciary to assess the case. There is a suspicion that there were 2 crimes, one sexual harassment and the other a physical injury. The police are required by law to bring both, says Petra Wiedmann of the Munich police. And she advises people to use, quote, other options when a crime occurs at a station. People should address the security force on the ground in a preventative way if something suspicious occurs. So let me get this straight. If someone is being raped, if your daughter is being raped on a train station in Germany, you should not stop the rape. Instead, you should call the police. Takes, I don't know, 5-10 minutes before they show up, and the attack has already happened. You should not intervene yourself. You just call the police and let them attack, do whatever evil stuff that they were doing. Just let them do that, and don't intervene. Just call the police. No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You should definitely be allowed to defend yourself. Now let me go back to the super chat here, by the way, that we had during that article. Let me see if I can just find it. It disappeared. Let me see if I can find the super chat that disappeared. Ah, here we have. From Sumona Kvantitet. Thank you so much for the super chat from Denmark. Says, I expect to see your support for Kalmar Unionen in the near future now that I gave you money. I would not disagree. I think Sweden could be in the need for Kalmar Unionen again. Denmark seems to be a lot more red-pilled than Sweden. I mean, just look at how Denmark is dealing with the migration issues and crime and violence, and how they're mocking Sweden as well. There's been these very interesting comedy videos being sent on Danish TV where they have been mocking Sweden and their political correctness. So yeah, I would not say it would be a bad thing to get Kalmar Unionen back, to have Denmark and Sweden like that. It would not be a bad thing. So I kind of almost support you on that, Simonia. But thank you so much for the super chat, and I really appreciate your comment. And I see that you helped fill up the tip jar even more. I don't know. Let's see how high we can get it. We already got 1/3 of the tip jar filled up. So maybe we can get even more. And thank you so much for the subscription, by the way. I've lost your name. Let me see if I can find your name. I'm supposed to have it on it. As I said, this is my first time streaming with this new software, so you have to bear with me if I don't know how everything works. But thank you so much for that subscription as well. It just popped up on screen a little bit earlier. By the way, Lars, you asked about if I knew about these people before in the super chat. I don't think I saw any answer from you who they are. If you want to write in the chat right now, Lars Agerbeck, about who they are, I would appreciate it, and I will read that on video for you. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much for the super chat, John Knight. Really appreciate it, and it helps keep this show going, because I'm going to do this a regular thing. I'm gonna try and build this up to be the new kind of Vorski live stream. We're gonna have guests on later on. Well, not this stream, but we're gonna have guests in other episodes. We're gonna have lots of interesting guests. We're probably going to have Ollie back and lots of other interesting people to talk about and discuss different topics. So all your super chats help keep this show going, and is very much appreciated. All right, let's move on to our next story, shall we? Let's go to Germany again. Why not? There's another crazy story from Germany that was actually just out here recently. I see there's someone in the chat here saying that the video won't play for me. Jack, I think, I don't know, if you try and perhaps refresh the page, it should be working. It seems to be working on my end, so if you try and refresh the page or something, I'm actually gonna, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, try and refresh the page, perhaps it might work. I'm just gonna type in the chat. Refresh, the video should work. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat from Christian Madsen from Denmark again. We have loads of people from Denmark in the super chat today. Asks, am I going to cover the Danish elections later this year? Of course, I will be covering all of the important elections, especially my Danish brothers. We will be definitely covering that when that comes out. And thank you so much for super chat, Christian. Really appreciate it. And you helped fill the tip jar up. All right. Let's get on to our story from Germany again. And let me just bring it up on screen. There we go. So, the latest story from Germany. Asylum seeker brutally raped a child who was teaching him German. This is from Voice of Europe, a very good website. I recommend you follow them. They have lots of interesting news coming out from Europe. So this story is about there's a 27-year-old asylum seeker in I don't know how to pronounce it, Bückeburg in Germany. The young girl and the migrant met at the local refugee relief center, and they met several times. The migrant said that he wanted to learn the German language, but when he had a chance, he actually attacked and raped the 13-year-old girl in the room of her friend in Bückeburg. The girl's mother says, my daughter said that he held her and locked the door, and he forced her, as she said, no, I don't want that. The man claims he did not know that his victim was only 13 years old. I thought she was 18 or 19. She looked grown up, the guy said in German quote. Yeah, I don't know. I know Europeans probably look a little bit different than girls in his home country, but I doubt that he would not be able to tell her age, that she was underage. I doubt that. You should be able to see that. Again, this is a second story from Germany about these horrible things. And it's just so much now with the increasing violence and the rapes, especially in Sweden. And by the way, while we're talking about Sweden, let me just see if I can bring up. I did manage to find a chart from Sweden about the different the rape statistics for the different years. Let me just see if I can bring that up. Just bear with me 1 second here. I'm just going to bring the article up on screen quickly while I try and find this on my computer, so you don't have to see my face all the time. Just 1 second. I think we did it. Yes. Yes, here's the chart that we have from Sweden, from the rape statistics for the last 30-40 years actually. So if you can so you can see here on screen, it starts at the year 1975. So this is the number of rapes reported per 100,000 people in Sweden. So back in 1975, there was only about 10 rapes reported per 100,000 people. And that kind of stayed that way. When around the 90s, it started to increase. And in case you don't know, in the 90s, Sweden actually got a lot of refugees coming from Serbia and those countries, and Bosnia, with the wars going on down there. And then you can kind of see the rapes kind of start to increase, and then it kind of flattened out till around the year 2003. Where it has all of a sudden just completely skyrocketed, especially up to, you get around the year 2010, it just completely goes through the roof. And the last year had a record. It's over 70 reported rapes per 100,000 people in Sweden, compared with just 10 in 1975. I did the math earlier, and I believe there's been about a 1,004, I can't remember exactly, I did a math earlier, I don't have it in front of me, but it's somewhere around 1,500% increase, something like that. I'm not very good at math, so I don't have it in my head, but I did the maths before, and it was really, really not nice at all. Let's go to the next story here. Let me just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to figure out something in the settings here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just 1 second. I'm trying to figure out all this works. As I said, it's the first time I'm using this new streaming software, but there we should have that sorted. Let's move on to our next story. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat, by the way. We have quite a good chat going. Let's hype this chat and smash the like button, and let's keep this going. And I hope you enjoy this stream, guys. We'll be doing this a lot more. We'll be doing live streams every day, and at 10 p.m. Norwegian time or 9 p.m. British time. So I hope you enjoy this, and please let me know your thoughts in the chat, because this is the first time doing this, and I really appreciate your feedback, guys. If everything is working, if you can hear me properly, if the video is looking good and all that stuff. So please let me know any thoughts or feedback or comment. And as I said, all super chats is highly appreciated and will help keep this stream going, and will help fill up this tip jar. And I have some different settings that I'm going to look around with, perhaps change the sound a little bit. I believe I cannot hear it on my end, but I believe whenever there is a super chat, the Swedish national anthem should be playing on screen. Let me know if it does that or not. I will have to go back later because I cannot hear the sound myself. And thank you so much for that subscription, by the way, that just popped up on screen. I'm new to all this stuff, so bear with me while I get everything figured out. Simonia in the chat says, I destroyed the like button. Thank you so much for that. I just hope that your computer screen is okay, that you didn't destroy your computer screen at the same time. But thank you so much for hitting that like button, and that helps. The way the YouTube algorithms work, that helps get this video more views. So thank you so much. Let's jump into our next story. It's quite ironic, actually. The next story is quite ironic. So there is a British guy. Let me just bring it up on a screen so you guys can see for yourself what it is about. There we go. Let me see if we can just move it a little bit bigger. Yeah. Okay, so we have, many of you probably know about this guy, Graham Linehan. He's the co-creator of the show called Father Ted. He's now been getting a warning from the British police for transphobia. Yeah, this is not a joke, because this guy has actually, and the ironic thing is this guy has actually been advocating for hate speech laws and things like that, and now he's being targeted himself by these hate speech laws. So Graham Linehan has been given a warning by, I believe it's West Yorkshire Police. Yeah, it is. Father Ted co-creator Graham Linehan has been given a verbal harassment warning by British police after being reported by a trans activist over social media comments. West Yorkshire Police spoke to the writer and told him to cease contacting Stephanie Hayden, with whom he has wrote on Twitter. Miss Hayden reporting for, quote, transphobia after he referred to her as he, and by names she used before she transitioned. So basically this is a guy who has transitioned into a female. Yeah. Linehan, who lives in Norfolk, has sent tweets calling her Tony and Stephen, references to her former names. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what to say. There's just there's two things about this story that is so funny. Well, the first part is not really funny at all. He called him. Well, no, he called him, who now is preferred to be called her. He called her him. Oh, this gets so confusing. He, Linehan, called him, who now calls himself her. He called her him, and now he's getting warnings of transgender, transphobic hate speech by the British police. You don't think the British police has anything more better to do with their time? And the ironic part is that this guy actually supports these hate speech laws that he now got hit by himself. So if you look here, you remember the what's his name, Count Dankula. Linehan was happy that he was, if I remember correctly, he was glad that he was actually convicted, and he also he's been advocating for these hate speech laws for a long time. And he's been complaining about Nazis on Twitter and on GoFundMe and things like this for a long time. And now himself has been targeted by the same laws that he has been advocating for. It's quite funny. It's funny in one sense, it's really sad in another sense. I don't know. It's at least it's coming back to bite them. It's coming back to bite them. These own laws that they're advocating for are at least coming back to bite them, and they have to abide by them at least. I mean, the left is eating itself, it seems. So, first of all, it's just madness that someone can be given a warning by police for calling a man. What he did basically is crime. He called a man a man. But that man wanted to be called a her. Now he's been getting a warning from the British police because of it. You would think that there would be much more important things to think about, you know, like grooming gangs or FGM or all of this stuff should be a lot more important to talk about for British police, you know? It's insane. Thank you so much, by the way, for the super chat from Sean, again from Canada. Thank you so much. You have been really generous with the super chat today, Sean. Thank you so much. He says in the comment here, the song Imagine by John Lennon is describing global communism in its lyrics. Thoughts? The thing is, I don't listen to that kind of music, so I don't know too much about the lyrics, about the Beatles and John Lennon and those people, but I do know that the Beatles and all of these people that were involved in the hippie movement in the 60s and 70s were very much influenced by communism, and basically what happened was that in the 60s and 70s you had a hippie movement. The left, well, the communism, they couldn't take over with violence, with revolution in America because things were prosperous. In Russia, in Soviet Union, they managed to take over by revolution. They didn't do that in America. In America, they were a little bit smarter. They went the long route, and they've done it in Sweden too. They went the long route through the institutions, through the culture, especially, and the Beatles, they were very much a part of this, spreading communism and cultural Marxism. It's actually a kind of better word for it. It's cultural Marxism. It's communism, Marxism spread through the culture, cultural Marxism. And that's what these Beatles were doing. They were definitely spreading communism through the culture, not only the Beatles, but many, many others. In fact, the leader of the student revolutions in America was actually a member of the Frankfurt School. And in case you don't know that, it's a school. It was a school in Frankfurt where they were communists, and they had the brilliant idea of spreading communism through culture instead of by revolution. So all of that stuff is quite interesting. You should look it up. It's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. We could go into more detail about that if we get perhaps a guest who knows more about it. If you have any suggestions in the chat, who can talk about this, if you know anyone who's good, please let me know. Randy says here in the chat that PeterSweden is actually PewDiePie's cousin. I don't know about that. Do I look like him? Press 1 in the chat if I look like PewDiePie. Press 2 if I don't look like PewDiePie. I would go with 2. I don't think I look like PewDiePie, but press 1 if you think I do. Press 2 if you don't think so. It would be nice though to have a big channel like PewDiePie's and spread red pills, distribute red pills everywhere. That would be amazing. Okay, it seems like the chat is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10-4 in favor of saying that I do not look like PewDiePie. 11-4, 11-5. It looks like the chat is agreeing that I do not look like PewDiePie. I would tend to agree. Yeah, thank you so much. Having fun in the chat today, guys. Let's go on to our next story. Oh, the time is flying by. I see we don't have much time, so let's try and hurry up on our stories. Okay, let's go to Sweden. We have some crazy stuff. I actually found this article. It's actually almost a year old, this article, but it's hilarious nonetheless. So, we have this story from Sweden. So this story is actually about a year old, but it's absolutely hilarious. You have this woman here from Stockholm with her dog, and she is demanding gender neutral, gender separated parks for dogs. She says that female dogs should not be. The fact that female dogs, because the way it is now in dog parks in Sweden, female dogs are not allowed to be in the dog park when they are in heat. So she says that the fact that female dogs are not allowed to be in the dog park while they are in heat is nothing else than gender discrimination, says Carola Kastman, pictured, who now is demanding that the city will react to it by creating gender-separated dog parks. The insanity is spreading far and wide. So, reading on here, she says that I was not allowed to let my dog loose because she was in heat, and it would make all the other male dogs crazy. So she's now demanding gender-separated dog parks so she can get her dog in heat and put her in the dog park. I don't know. I don't have to read on. It's just too crazy. It's just too crazy. The craziness has spread to a different level. They say that she actually says here in the article, the fact that no one has even thought about the fact that you can ban the male dogs instead of having to put your female dogs on leash, really shows that there is gender discrimination in our society. That the patriarchy is actually coming in, reaching in all the way into the dog parks. I could never have thought, unquote. That is the actual real words of this woman. I actually translated it, what she is actually saying. Oh my. She thinks that the patriarchy is actually reaching into the dog parks and forcing her to put her female dog on a leash instead of kicking the male dogs out. That's gender discrimination by the patriarchy. I don't know what to say. These people, 20 years ago, these people would have been locked up in asylum. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I don't know. What do you think, guys, in the chat? Please leave a comment. Lars here, by the way, says, who gave a super chat earlier, says that I want to research Rasmus Paludan and his political party Stram Kurs after this is over. He's the greatest white pill ever, please. I will definitely have a look at it, and I really appreciate your super chat, Lars. I haven't been able to. I haven't seen your comment. Let me see if I can find your comments. Oh yes, I see. You know what? I think now that you mentioned his party Stram Kurs, I actually think I have heard of them before. So I'm just gonna do just a quick Google search here for you, Lars. Yes. I think I know now. So what Lars is talking about in Denmark, there is a new political party in Denmark called Stram Kurs, which basically means in English tight course, straight and narrow, more or less, almost. It's a new right-wing political party which is against migration and all of this stuff. It's a new right-wing party in Denmark. I haven't looked up into it too much, but they are an anti-migration party in Denmark, and they are doing different actions. Just here, I see in the news here, they were demonstrating. They were demonstrating in a ghetto in Denmark, where there's a lot of migrants and so on. So this is a new right-wing party in Denmark. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens. And thank you so much, Lars. I finally remembered. Who they were. I hope you appreciate that, Lars, and that you. If there's anything else you want me to add, please leave a comment in the chat, Lars, and I hope that satisfies your super chat. And again, if you have anything you want me to bring up, any comments or questions or anything, all super chats will be read live on air. And I have this new system set up with this tip jar, so you will be getting this very nice animation, and your name will pop up on screen, and the Swedish national anthem will play with all super chats. So if you have anything you want to say, or if you want to support the show, because we'll be doing this 5 times a week at 10 p.m. Norwegian time, 9 p.m. British time, same time as today, always. So if you want to support the show, all super chats are highly appreciated, and helps keep this going. I see we have some more stories to go through. So let's go through them, and I'm keeping a look at the chat as well. So I'm trying to read everything that you write. But if there's anything in particular, use a super chat, because then I will definitely see it. All right. I think we have to talk about the Kavanaugh situation, because just yesterday Kavanaugh was confirmed as the next Supreme Court Justice in America, which is a very big win. I know I cannot have Steve Franson on today from America. He would otherwise have talked about that. He's actually busy. He's actually busy meeting some quite influential people right now as we speak. So he could unfortunately not be on today, but I'm sure he will be able to enlighten us next time he is on. But I just want to talk a little bit about Kavanaugh. So Kavanaugh was confirmed, and the thing is that what happened here is that the left basically threw in the kitchen sink to try and stop the confirmation of Kavanaugh. And you had all of these false accusations that could never be never be proven. You had all these false accusations, especially from Ford, who, by the way, yesterday dropped all her. She said she dropped it. She will not pursue her accusations against Kavanaugh anymore. So after a nice big GoFundMe cash check, loads of money, all the left loving her, all of a sudden she just drops it, and she goes away with the cash. She's probably all happy, having wine parties and all of that stuff that I don't know, that middle-aged women, single women like. I don't know. I guess that's what they like. So she's been cashing in on it, but Kavanaugh got confirmed anyway. Probably a lot thanks to this what's his name, Lindsey Graham, the guy who finally got his testosterone levels up after, I don't know where he had been. He probably got some of Alex Jones's super male vitality pills, and all of a sudden he got his stuff back together. And well, Kavanaugh was confirmed, and it cannot be underestimated how big of a victory this is for the right. It shows that the Republicans can get their stuff through as long as they're determined. The left threw the kitchen sink. All of the George Soros money, the protesters busting, all of that, they threw in the kitchen sink to try and stop this, because they know that this is extremely important. They failed. And the Republicans managed to get their candidate in, and now there is a majority conservative, a majority of conservatives on the Supreme Court in America, meaning that we are probably likely to see abortion being restricted, hopefully made completely legal, and all of that stuff. Very important for America's future and the rest of the world, because what happens in America has ripple effects all across the rest of the world, in Europe in particular. So it's a very important thing that they managed to. It's a huge victory for the right, for conservatives, and a major defeat for the left. So I think it's very just important to just point that out. I think we have a couple of more stories. Yeah, we have one more story that we're going to go through, and then we will be wrapping this stream up. Let's jump into it. And I'm just gonna have a look at at the chat as well, see if we have any good comments. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna bring the chat up here on screen, if I can. I think we should have the chat on the screen right now. Yes, it did come up. Okay, So I'm just gonna leave your chat up here on the screen a little bit. Yes. Okay, let's go on to the next story. And this one is from Sweden, and it's actually quite an important story, a very important story. Let me just bring it up on the screen, one moment. There we go. So we have a Swedish journalist who is writing about crimes. He's actually threatened with his life, and the police has refused to help him. So if you don't know who he is, he's a well-known journalist in Sweden. He used to work for SVT, the Swedish state media. His name is Joachim Lamotte, and he's been doing quite good work. I had a little bit of contact with him, and that's actually been negative. But anyway, he has been threatened. He's been reporting about migrants and crime and so on in problem areas, and he's been threatened. People have called him and said some very nasty things about him and about his family and his wife. Only this past weekend, actually received 40 calls of this kind. 40 calls of these threats. A few days ago, we received another threat, and so on. He's been having quite. It's not been good for this guy, to say it that way. And he's been doing live streams on Facebook. He's been getting hundreds of thousands of views on Facebook and YouTube in Sweden, talking about these things, and it's been quite good work in red pilling the Swedish people. But now he's been getting these threats and so on, and he's reporting the police, but he's not getting any help from the Swedish police, and this is where it's getting really worrying. Lamotte holds up a stack of envelopes from the police. They all contain information that the investigations related to the threats have been closed. In one case, the police sent him confirmation that they had received his complaint and a notification that the case was closed on the same day. The timestamps on the two documents show that the case had been closed less than 1 hour after the complaint had been received. Lamotte doubts that the police have investigated threats at all, since they had not even received the sound files with recordings of the threats that Lamotte sent them when they decided to close the case. Joachim Lamotte says that threats to freedom of speech are not taken seriously in Sweden today. And that is one of the main reasons why he, despite the threats, decided to go through with the broadcast. So he says he's not backing down, he's still continuing to do these broadcasts, which I applaud him for. It's a very brave thing of him to do. So talking about that, it was actually last year in Sweden. Last year in Sweden, that a independent journalist from Iran, actually, Bakir Rabbani, he was actually going to expose a guy called Robert Aschberg. Robert Aschberg is a well-known journalist. He's a communist in Sweden. His grandfather financed the Bolshevik Revolution, and so on. So this guy was a communist in his youth, and this independent journalist had some expose that he was going to do on this Aschberg guy. And you know, the funny thing, the strange thing was, he was mysteriously found dead just the day before, the night before he was going to release this expose on this guy. That is very suspicious, and the far left in Sweden has a history of violence. They have killed people in the past and so on. So, you know, it's quite suspicious circumstances. You know, kind of similar to the Hillary Clinton stuff. So it's very suspicious, and freedom of the press and freedom of speech in Sweden is really under threat. Thank you so much, by the way, for the super chat here from Thankful Winner, helping filling up the tipping jar a little bit more. We've actually been doing quite good today. I think which way am I supposed to point? This way? No. This way. I don't know which way to point. The camera is like mirrored the wrong way, so I don't know which way to point. This way. Yeah, this way. The tipping jar. It's actually almost halfway full, so we're doing quite good today. And there's a lot of gold coins in there as well, so that's a good sign. Maybe we can try. Can we try and get one more today before we finish? That would be excellent. Anyway, my point is from Sweden. Freedom of speech, you know, the elites, they own it. 80% of the mainstream media in Sweden is owned by the same family. So you don't get very much diversity of opinions in the Swedish media. And most of the other media is owned by and the rest 20%, most of that is owned by the government. So you don't get a lot of diversity in Swedish media, which means that the people get brainwashed very easily, which is why they voted the way they did in Sweden in the elections. Now, there have been a lot of independent journalists popping up, doing good work, trying to bring the truth out to the people. I'm one of them. But they kind of don't like the work that we are doing, so there is a constant threat to independent journalists and the free press, free speech in Sweden. It's not that easy, and that's why I'm actually in Norway myself now, and that's part of why I'm in Norway and not in Sweden. So yeah, it's important for all of the good journalists in Sweden to be careful and make sure that everything goes well. Sweden is not. You should not take it lightly in Sweden. I'm in Norway, and thankfully it's much safer in Norway. But Sweden is a bad country. Sweden is not the country you want to be in, especially if you are a opponent. If you're a dissident. If you have dissident opinions compared to the government, you should. You are usually not very welcome in Sweden, to say it that way. But nothing has really changed. Back in the 30s, the socialist government, the same socialist Democrats that now control, that are now in government in Sweden, won this last election actually with almost 30% of the votes. The socialist Democrats back in the 30s, during Hitler's time, they actually arrested journalists in Sweden that criticized Hitler, and they censored articles that criticized the Nazis. This was happening in Sweden. This was the socialist Democrats doing this, and it's not. They're just doing the same thing now. Nothing changed. Yeah, I think we'll finish on that's the last article that we have from Sweden. Let me just go through a little bit of the chat as well. As it's been very, very good chat this evening. So I'm just going to go through a little bit here as well before we finish up. Let's see if we have any comments here. So I just had to block some guy who was spamming the chat. We had some trolls. Yeah, if you have any feedback on this new setup, I would love to have your feedback in the chat, guys, and what you think. Do you think this new setup is better than before with the Google Hangouts? Do you have any feedback at all? Please let me know in the chat here, and then we will wrap this up. I think it's been a very good. Stream, and we had a lot of good comments and a lot of good people in the chat. A lot of good positive vibes. Christian Madsen wants me to check up on Stramkurs. That is the Danish right-wing party, I believe, that I talked about earlier, that Lars in the super chat wanted me to talk about. I'm going to have a close look at it. I don't know too much, but I will definitely look up on it a little closer. We don't have any feedback. Okay, let's do this before we finish. Press 1 in the chat if you enjoyed this new stream, this new stream format. Press 1 if you enjoyed it. Press 2 if you didn't, and we will end the stream on that. Super Magnetized says, keep up the good work, Peter. Thank you so much. Lars Agerberg says, maybe change the image to something from the beautiful Norwegian nature. Perhaps I could do that. In fact, okay, let's do a little let's do a little experiment then. Let me try and change that up here on screen. Oh, a lot of ones. A lot of people seem to like this new stream setup. Okay, let me just try something. Before we finish this stream, I'm going to try and do what Lars suggested and bring up a different photo in the background. Let's do that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that did not look too nice. Yeah, I think I kind of prefer the other background, to be completely honest with you. I think I'm going to delete that one. There we are. I think that's better. I think this is better. Someone in the chat is asking which software I'm using. I'm actually using I'm using a software called OBS, Open Broadcasting Software, I think it is. It's free actually, open source, and it's free, which is perfect. And it's actually very good. It's actually very good, much better than I had expected. Yeah, I think. What do you think, guys? Did you like the Norwegian picture better, or did you like this background better? The thing is with this background, it is actually not the image. This is actually a kind of studio. Well, this is actually a video file. This is actually a video file that I'm playing in. You can see, for example, the lamps up here are blinking. This is more of a kind of studio background thing. I have another studio as well. Let me see if I can bring that up instead, to give an example what that looks like. Just 1 second. There we go. Can you see that on screen? So this is part of the studio that I have as well, that you can see playing on screen right now. My plan is that I'm going to have perhaps this as a kind of intro. I'm still working with it. I'm gonna have this as a kind of intro thing, perhaps in the future. I'm still working on getting everything right, but I think I'm gonna stick with this as a background. I might experiment a little bit, see if I can find some better background. I think it looks more professional. It's like it looks like, you know, like this kind of American late night talk show thing. That's the kind of feel I'm getting from this. Maybe someone in the chat is actually suggesting Northern Lights. I could try that, see if I find some Northern Lights I could play in the background. Yeah, someone in the chat wants me to have a glass of whole milk with me. Yeah, I'll do that next time. Actually, before this stream started, I had one of these. I don't think they have them. They have them in. This is actually from Denmark. They have a Swedish one as well. It used to be called Pucko in Swedish. This is Scotch. In Denmark, it's like a chocolate drink, but it's got milk in it. So I did have that before the stream. Laura in the chat wants me to have a picture from the ferry, the water cliffs on both sides. Let me see if I can. Let me try that. Let's see how that works. Let me experiment and see if we can manage to get that one up. Give me 1 second. Let me know what you think. As I said, I hope you enjoy this stream, and I'm still experimenting, trying to get everything set up correctly. Let me see if we can find ourselves another photo. The thing is, I want to have a video file as the background and not a photo. Ideally, it looks nicer if it's a video. Let me just see if I can find. Perhaps this one could work. This is quite a good image. Let me see if we can bring that back behind me. 1 moment, please. That doesn't look half bad. That actually looks quite good. What do you think, guys? Should I have this background instead? This actually looks quite good. I am impressed. Could make myself bigger. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Should I keep this one? Or should I go back to the skyline? Press 1 for skyline or 2 for the Norwegian photo. I don't know. Lars thinks it's pretty good. I'm not sure. Should I keep this? Oh no, it did not fit. Let's sort that out. There we go. Yeah, should we use this background or should we use this background? I don't know, you decide. We'll have to experiment and see. Skyline or Norway? Let's see, we got a lot of twos. Twos, that was a Norwegian one if I remember correctly. Yes, a GIF with movement. That would be the one. We would have we would want it to move and have it looping in the background. Do you know what I could do? I could perhaps get a waterfall. I do have a video of a waterfall somewhere lurking on my computer. Do you know what? But I'll actually try and find that just real quick. Let's see if we can. Let's see if the just a little experiment. Anyone choosing one is getting banned. Thank you, Laura, in the mod there. Let's see. I had an idea. Let's see. No, that's too short. Let's go with this one. Let's see how this looks. Actually make myself smaller. Like this perhaps. I don't know, it actually kind of looks quite nice. I don't know. We have a lot of options with this software. This software is actually really good. Yeah, the music is working apparently. Actually, I'm gonna turn the music off. Or should I keep the music on? I'm gonna turn the music off. Yeah, I mean we could do this background. I kind of prefer the I kind of prefer the skyline, to be quite honest. Yeah, and I kind of prefer the skyline. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep it at the skyline for the moment, but we have quite a few options. I'm gonna explore and see if I can get together some kind of good video for with nature instead of the skyline. But I will stay with the skyline for the time being. Can you still hear me? I think you should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to. You should be able to hear me according to my settings at least. But yeah, yeah. I think we'll wrap this. I think we'll wrap this stream up here. I've really enjoyed this using this new software, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. It seems like you guys in the chat have enjoyed this. I hope you have, and we have a lot more coming. I have a lot more stuff I'm going to work on to get this whole setup looking even more professional. As I said, this is the first time I'm doing this, and I'm still experimenting. So yeah, I'm so thankful you all guys tuned in, and we will be doing these streams again. We will actually be doing this again tomorrow at the same time. So 9 p.m. British time, or 10 p.m. Swedish time, or I believe it was 1 p.m. Pacific time, someone told me in the chat. So make sure to tune in again tomorrow as well. Hopefully we can bring a guest tomorrow. Hopefully I'm gonna get Steve Franson on. If not, we will still be talking about all the current events and stuff happening around the world. So yeah, appreciate you all guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the super chats. We managed to get the tip jar almost half full up here. Next time we can get all the way to the top, so we can get this. It helps the stream going, and we can hopefully build this up into something big and dish out a lot of red pills. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I'm gonna end this stream right here. And have a good night, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time.